Starting now.
Okay. 3, 2, welcome to Nintendo Dads episode 186, recorded today, June 28th, 2018. On tonight's episode, we are joined by Steven from Engaged Gamer Podcast?
It's Engaged Family Gaming. Close enough.
No,
I'll give you a pass.
Hey, no, we're gonna do that one again. I don't know why I didn't have that down right.
Engage a Family Gaming is the name of my Engage a Family Gaming Podcast is the name of my podcast, which you may have seen me talking about.
Yeah.
But Engage Family Gaming is the name of the site.
All right, let's do that one again. Yeah. All right, 3, 2, 1. Welcome to Nintendo Dads episode 186, recorded tonight on June 28th, 2018. On tonight's episode, we're joined by Steven from Engaged Family Gaming to talk about all the nerdy Nintendo news this week and break down everything from Labo in Mario Kart 8. Is the 3DS not completely dead yet? Who's playing Pokemon Go? And what the heck is Cat Quest 2? That and so much more. Jesse, cue the music.
In post.
Yeah, in post. All right, good day, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Justin Masson, and you are tuned in to the Nintendo Dads Podcast, your weekly dosage of Nintendo nerdy news from a dad's perspective. And joining me today are two of the coolest dads that I know, or at least the ones that would show up for this podcast. First, Mr. Jesse Waldack, king of the VG Tribune Kingdom and all that it oversees. Sir, how are you today?
How far does it oversee? Is it like the Mufasa and Simba, where everything the light touches, or not so large?
I mean, we'd like it to be everywhere the light touches, but I think the reality is it's a very small lot of land.
Or do we have the darkness side?
Probably the darkness side, I would go. But I think that you have a bit of swagger when you own that, which I always appreciate. How's your day going, though?
It's going pretty good. We had a little worrisome with the AC unit. It stopped working for a while for some reason.
Oh, no.
But it kicked back in, and we're back to comfortable levels again.
Okay, yeah. That AC unit is new, so it should not be dying on you yet.
Right. I think the wife and the daughter was messing with the thermostat, and they didn't know what they were doing.
That is the worst, right? Don't touch the dials. My kids do that. I don't know, Steven, do your kids like touch dials and they like change settings and then you don't know how to get it back?
No, because they don't like it to be hot, so they don't touch things that make it hot.
Right, fair enough. That's fair. In this house in Ireland, there are like no dials. There's no kind of real heat system or cold system. It's just whatever nature lets the house be.
You open windows?
We do, yeah. We do. It's like you open windows or close windows. So we have no control over it. You just have to just be one with the disgustingness of your house. But of course, that voice before a couple moments ago was Steven from the Engaged Family Gaming. How are you today? It's late, obviously. It's late for you. You're on the East.
It is. Yeah, it's a little late for me. East Coast time, starting to record at 11 o'clock. But this is what hustle looks like, right? So
yeah, that's exactly it.
And as we said, I had little Dunkin' Donuts on the way home from the day job, and so I sat and wrote and watched Summer Games Done Quick. So realistically, you just gave me an excuse to watch more runs because I would have gone to bed early. But thank you for letting me watch Super Mario 3 get speedrun.
You're welcome.
I appreciate it.
Now, for those who don't know, Summer Games Done Quick, can you tell us a little bit about it?
Oh, man. Games Done Quick is a charity marathon. It's run twice a year. Summer, it's called Summer Games Done Quick. Winter, it's called Awesome Games Done Quick. And they take over a hotel in Minnesota twice a year for a week each to bring the best speedrunners in the world together. And they raise money for charities. Right now, they're raising money for Doctors Without Borders. It started Sunday in the middle of the afternoon. And they're already raised, when I turned it off, when you guys called me, it was about $875,000 for Doctors Without Borders. And they're going to go until very, very, very early in the morning on Sunday morning, capping it off with a 6-hour Final Fantasy VI run.
Wow.
So... yeah, it's crazy. My kids and I, and they stream it all on Twitch. It's all on YouTube. So if you just look up Games Done Quick on Twitch, for those of you listening, the good news is all of the clips are out there. So if you want to watch your favorite game, you can find it. It's all on YouTube as well. They've been doing it for a number of years, and it's interesting. If you have an interest in event production, like how events run, it's interesting to watch like really old runs and watching them now, because they used to be super small, and it'd be like 6 people sitting in a room with one guy running, and now there is a huge, I'm not going to say it's a stadium, but it's like a full banquet room in a hotel with one person up front playing and, 100 people behind him cheering him on. And the production value just gets better and better every year. It's crazy to watch. Your favorite games are there. They have a Mario block that's tonight. They had a Mega Man block.
Nice.
I watched a guy run Super Mario Brothers with one hand today, and he beat it in 6 minutes. We're talking
I feel like underaccomplished. I can't beat it within an hour with 2 hands.
Yeah, it's crazy, and we watch it every year. It's the first week of summer vacation for my kids, and so I granted them the opportunity to spend some time indoors. It's been incredibly hot, so they've actually been kind of chilling inside during the day and watching some of these speed runs, and they love it. And we sit and watch together and talk about the games. The only downside is now they just want to glitch everything. They just want to figure out like how to break every game that they play. And I'm like, how about you just enjoy them first?
Yeah.
Break them when you're older, because these are all games that these men and women played when they were kids,
right? And
they just dedicate more or less their life to them, and break them to unrecognizable levels. So yeah, that's Games Done Quick. You asked me a short question, I gave you a very long answer.
No, that's awesome. That's
we're good at that on this podcast.
Yeah, that's
all right.
okay.
Well,
we do it all the time.
You're on Mark. I think you've just never replaced our other hosts. I think you're fine.
All right.
That's fantastic. Almost $800,000 already. Hey. Yeah,
they last year they raised $2 million by the time it was done. It's tough for me to figure out like if they're on pace or not. Like, and beyond that, it's really hard to figure out. Who knows? But they made $2 million. They're definitely going to make one. And it typically picks up towards the weekend because Saturday is a big day. Lots of people watch it. And I would, they got a big Kingdom Hearts run. Kingdom Hearts 1.5 Final Remix is on Friday night. That's going to do well. And they run some crazy stuff. There was a guy running Cool Spot this morning. They have Spoopy Tuesday, which was all horror games.
Nice.
I saw a guy do some horrible things to Resident Evil 4. So it's really interesting, and they raise a ton of cash. The 2 charities they run, they do Doctors Without Borders, and then during Awesome Games Done Quick, which is just a better name than Winter Games Done Quick. It's a cancer foundation. I'm not sure the name of the exact charity. I think it varies, but it's always, fighting cancer. And they raised, it's always at least 1.5 million.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic.
Lots of prizes. They'll do things where it's like, hey, we'll do this cool run if we make enough money. Or they will put special challenges out for people. They'll have to do it extra hard or do it this different way depending on how people donate. The famous one, and you can probably, there's a meme about it, is Super Metroid. How if at the end of the game
saving the animals,
choose to save the animals, and it goes for the entire week. Usually Super Metroid is one of the ones run at the end, and for the entire week it's you send in your donation, and when you send in your donation you can say how much you're bidding towards that, and it's like, hey, $10, save the animals, or because obviously if you let the animals die it's faster. So that's usually like a big battle that goes on.
It's only like 2 or 3 extra screens, but it adds up.
It matters for a Super Metroid speedrun because the world record for Super Metroid is very fast.
It is.
Every frame matters. It's crazy. I mean, the world record for, a big one that they run is Ocarina of Time, Legend of Zelda. The world record for that is like 19 minutes.
Wow.
And it's not recognizable as the game that we identify. It's complete shenanigans. They do all sorts of stuff that just shouldn't happen. They have broken it to a level that it's unrecognizable. It's amazing. So watching these guys do it, it's an art form. It's amazing.
That's great.
And I'm still surprised when I see people do the backward butt run on Mario 64 up the stairs.
Yeah, listen, that is nothing compared to some of the stuff that they can do in Ocarina of Time. In Ocarina of Time, there is there's a thing they do where, you know, that there's a river that you can swim down out of one of the first towns, and they do this thing where they swim off of a waterfall and do like that sword downward slash, and if they do it just right, and like the moon is in the right phase or whatever, I don't know, they're miracle workers. You actually are going backwards, and you just go. It breaks the animation, and you're moving at like dash speeds backwards as fast as you can go, faster than you should be able to even run forwards, and you just move.
Nice.
And they just know how to go, and they're going backwards, and the camera's not pointed there. They just do it, and they've memorized the map so that they can take advantage of it. It's absolutely bananas.
Yeah, I think the most recent glitch that I heard about that I've used is in the recently released Donkey Kong Arcade.
Yep.
You know, there's 3 versions. They have the original Japanese, the normal Japanese, which is like the bug fixed version, and then the international release. In the original Japanese version, there's a glitch where you can pretty much skip the 25-meter levels.
Sure.
So nice. I did the first time I did it. I'm like, okay, I saved the video and put that on Twitter.
There you go.
Listen, it's crazy. It's absolutely bananas. All the stuff they do, it's so fun, and they're all doing it for such a great cause, and it's such a positive environment, which I think is important because like so much of the gaming world right now is like a constant din of negativity.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, we get to be kind of positive because we talk about Nintendo, so like we get to avoid some of that stuff, or at least sidestep it if we don't fully avoid it. They just kind of shove it out, and it's like for 1 week, it's almost like that Olympic feeling. It's like, you know what, let's just shove it aside, and I love it. It's great. They really, they work with the streamer or with the. I mean, they're all streamers. I mean, pretty much they all stream their stuff. They work with them on even sensitivity training and making sure that, because they're broadcasting to a bigger audience than they probably ever have before. So they even have like a yellow and red card system, and people cross the line to keep things down, which I think is amazing.
That's great. It's
great. I mean, they're really making gaming better while arguably saving lives.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's one of those things where, when we were, I think all 3 of us are of the age where, we were playing video games, and your mom and dad were probably like, that's not going to get you anywhere in life. And, what are you going to do with that? And go outside and play. And we have literally people who are able to say, I'm actually raising money to save lives and legitimately doing that. That's a tremendous place to be in. I love it.
Yeah. It's non-trivial.
Yeah, exactly. So Stephen, of course, thank you so much for joining us. We're excited. And of course you are hot off of E3 as well. Hopefully you're getting some rest from that. So we're going to pick your brains about that as we jump in through the day's news and see what you thought of it. So let's jump into it. But of course, our news are brought to us by Jesse. Who's our news brought to us by?
Our news is brought to us by our patrons.
Absolutely, over at patreon.com/NintendoDads. And a huge thanks to our newest Patreon our newest Patreon supporter, Mr. Gary Gray. Gary Gray. Sorry, Gary. The Flat Cap Gamer from over my side of the pond. Thank you so much for your core support. We greatly appreciate it. Of course, if you want to be like Gary and all the other Patreon supporters, head over to patreon.com/NintendoDads. And for, throw us a scratch here and there, and it helps us keep the lights on and keeps us ad-free. So that's fantastic. But of course, with that, ladies and gentlemen, let's stop talking about how we keep the show going. Let's get on with it. Jumping right into our news, we've got a couple news stories hot off the press. Let's start off with this one. Labo, there was an update, not necessarily to Labo, but more specifically to Mario Kart 8, which allowed for the introduction of the RC bike as a control scheme in Mario Kart 8. Again, from Labo to Mario Kart 8. Steven, what were your thoughts on this?
I mean, it's the smartest thing that I ever didn't think about. Like,
exactly,
I'm embarrassed. Right? I'm embarrassed that this wasn't my idea. Like, it's such a gimme. You know what I mean? Because while we built the Labos and we did the stupid bike race thing, which I say stupid, but it was awesome.
Yep.
And I made the track out of my hands and my foot and like a stupid doll, whatever. Never once was I like, man, this is basically Mario Kart, just not as well defined. I'm just embarrassed that I didn't suggest it. Like, I wish I had the feature on my site that I could point to and be like, I thought of this. But it's great. My kids have tried it a couple times. They don't particularly love it, just because it's more effort than holding the little Joy-Con. But I mean, it's neat.
Yeah, I thought it was fantastic. It was I remember, just because of the timing here, I woke up and I saw the press release and I kind of looked at it and it was more of a, yeah, duh. And just kind of put my phone back down and I was like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, and to your point, the game or the game they had baked into it was almost a test demo of being like, this could definitely be in here any moment. And obviously, of course, then it created hype for conversation around Labo. Again, to draw people back to that, but and then of course people jumping into Mario Kart 8. So, Jesse, what were your thoughts on this?
I thought it was interesting. I think I showed my son. He just went, "Oh no."
Yeah.
Yeah, but again, I don't own the game. I don't own Labo, so it doesn't affect me at all. But it's amusing to see the conversation that goes on.
Sure.
And I did read an article saying that Nintendo is planning on Labo-fying other games.
Yeah, and let's maybe sit in that pocket for a little bit and have a bit of a chat, shall we? About what else would we want to see Nintendo Labify, or do we want to see Nintendo Labify stuff?
How about a Legend of Zelda fishing mini game?
Oh man,
that sounds perfect.
Yeah,
sounds perfect.
Totally see that one.
You just stole 3 days from my life, is what you just did. Thanks for that. I think I think it is a no-brainer that we'll see some kind of integration with that house and Animal Crossing when they put it out. I'm thinking a little bit beyond some of the games they have out now, because I think the games that they have out now are somewhat limited in regards to that. But 100%. Games moving forward are everything's game. I mean, they could make a Samus arm cannon. They could give us a visor for her. They could, they could do anything. I'd love to punch some dudes and smash with that robot suit. I'll tell you what.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think there's a little bit of a rumor for a bit that I'd heard kind of around the grapevine that one of the reasons that Yoshi was delayed because they were probably trying to put some Labo integration into it to start off with.
Oh,
right, that's that cardboard.
That makes so much sense. I had not read that.
Yeah. But
now that you say it to me, that makes perfect sense. I mean, the game is built around like felt and paper craft and stuff like that. I mean, why wouldn't they push it out a few months? It's not going to cost anybody anything. It's not like the Switch is going to suffer for not having a Yoshi game this year.
Yeah.
And then have it come out with some Labo integration. That's about as elegant as they come.
Yeah, exactly.
Zach Bohannon in the chat says arms with the robot suit.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, listen, that would work.
Yeah. And then obviously to Steven's point, using the robot suit, the visor goes down and there's your Samus, right?
Yeah. I mean, they could also put out another kit. What do you guys think about this? We talked about this on my show around the time Labo came out. With all these arcade games coming, I think a Nintendo, like the arcade archives, Donkey Kong and some of the other stuff, I think a Nintendo Labo arcade
unit
cabinet thing would be pretty rad.
A third party is putting out a kind of a Labo knockoff of exactly that. I mean,
those are going to be a thing.
And I already have it. I already have it on pre-order.
All right.
Problem is, I don't think you can go into Tate mode with it. I think it's just stuck at landscape.
I mean, that's a couple months of work for them. They can figure it out.
Yeah. I mean, I think it'd be brilliant. I'd love that. I think that's a very cool usage of it for sure. So I think that's a logical one for sure. Are your kids still playing Labo, or was it kind of like one and done and then over in the corner?
They still play with the piano.
Yes.
My youngest son is absolutely dead set on learning the Happy Birthday, which is one of the default songs on there. Like he really, really wants to do it. My daughter, who is 5, We'll play with the house occasionally. It's definitely moved into diversion territory. We actually haven't built the robot yet. We bought both kits on launch day, but we haven't built the robot kit yet. And part of that is because we know that the robot is going to take like a whole freaking day to make.
Right.
And I want to do it, right. The last time when Labos came out, I was actually at a LARP event. My wife and kids actually made all the other stuff. So I want to be there for the robot.
Right.
So probably soon this summer making the robot, and I think that will get more play because my kids love giant robots.
Right. Yeah. We've tucked away a couple of the kits here in our family for the rainy day fund in Ireland. Right, it's pouring outside. You're not allowed to go outside. Let's bust out a couple of Labos and start building the piano. Right, so may as well. But yeah, so yeah, I think it's good play from Nintendo. We'll see what else they have on the docket. Moving on to our second item, we've got Yokai Watch Blast has been announced for the Nintendo 3DS family, and of course, this supporting the fact that the Nintendo 3DS, despite a lot of people's requests, is not fully dead yet. And of course, maybe leaning into a little bit of the target audience that they're specifically looking for Yokai Watch and specifically who they're looking for the Nintendo DS family. Steven, does your kids play the Yokai Watch at all?
I mean, I bought the first one because I was convinced that it was going to be like this big thing.
I think so was the company that designed it.
Yeah. And I thought it was neat. My kids played it and they're like, Dad, this is just a crappy Pokemon's. And I was like, yeah, you're right. It's just a crappy Pokemon's.
Yep.
They love the cartoon. They're all in on the cartoon. The game, I mean, they will eventually beat it because they just poke away at it.
Yep.
And kids have infinity time, so they'll get it. But I don't know.
Kids are jerks that way, to be really honest.
Yeah, my kids are definitely jerks. So are you talking, when you say Yokai Watch Blast, are you talking about the Yokai Watch Blasters, the new thing with like the red cat and the white dog thing that was announced today?
Yeah.
Yes.
Their subtitles are Red Cat Core and White Dog Squad.
Okay. Yeah. Now I know what you're talking about. I thought there was a third game that was announced, and I was super nervous. I was like, man, how all in on Yokai Watch can you possibly be?
They're really committed.
Sure. I mean,
yeah, we're not to the Fire Emblem levels of insanity yet.
Nah, that'd be awesome though. I want more Fire Emblem real bad, but I mean, it's fine, right? What do you guys do with the Yokai Watch?
We
over there.
I had my oldest played it for about a week, I think. 2 years ago or 2 years ago when it came out, and she thought it was really good. And occasionally she'll say stuff like, "Hey, you remember that fat orange cat from that game?" Mm-hmm. I'm like, "Oh yeah, exactly." So she remembers it and she recalls it. And I do think in a lot of ways it probably for her was a predecessor or gateway game into stuff like Pokemon.
Sure.
Right. It really, and I think really when we were playing it, I remember my feedback, my review of it was, this does feel like a very entry level Pokemon, right? If at that point, now this is back when Sun and Moon was coming out. If I gave her that, I think that might have been a little bit like, whoa, there's a little bit too much going on here, Dad. So I do think it's done well that way. But they're not clamoring for it. But I do think this again goes back to strengthening the commentary about where Nintendo is putting their games. A game that's obviously very dedicated for children, probably perfect for their first catch 'em kind of game on the Nintendo DS, right? And they're keeping that device alive with games such as this because that's a great audience for them to get started into.
Sure. Yeah, I agree with you. I have no correction.
Sure.
Yeah, we'll probably
that's something to be said for me.
We'll probably hear more about this from Marty to hear what his thoughts are when he's back. Because I think he and his son are the ones that played the game the most.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
It is interesting though, if we could go back, if you don't mind, to the idea that you thought that Yokai Watch was an interesting starter to like ramp into Pokemon, because what I think is interesting is my kids think it's actually the opposite. Like they actually think that Yokai Watch, what with like the wheel, and some of the other mechanics, they actually like they take to Pokemon immediately, and have put hundreds of hours into Pokemon games over the years. But they actually think Yokai Watch is a step more complicated than they want.
Really?
So I think it's interesting just the way we look at it, and I'm sure it's just, I mean, neither of them are particularly complex games on the surface. I think it's just a matter of perspective and opinion, and my two sons have convinced themselves that it's harder, so therefore it's harder.
Yep, that's fair. Yeah, and I mean, I do think it's, of course, going back to kind of what suits for your kids in each set, right? I mean, you know, I was watching my daughter play, and I remember I was like, oh, you got pretty far in it, and like she wasn't really reading anything, just smashing the buttons and kind of having to go at it. But I was like, I'm kind of impressed with how far you've gotten along, and of course the characters. I think especially with Yokai Watch kind of being a little bit over the top, a little bit more cartoony. I'm not saying that the Pokemon isn't, but I think very, very based on cartoon characters and a bit kind of weird and whimsical, I think, caught her attention as well, right? So so yeah, no, it's Yokai Watch, it's still a thing. It probably will be for quite a while, I suspect. Speaking of a thing that has been for quite a while and will continue to be, is of course Pokemon Go. And interestingly enough, I don't know if Jesse, you've got the data points to support this as well.
Speaking of games not yet dead.
Yeah, not yet dead. Pokemon Go has now the most active player base since launch. Steven, are you playing Pokemon Go, or is your kids playing Pokemon Go? How's that working?
It's definitely coming back now that the Let's Go games have been announced.
Yep.
So it's on the way back for us. The only thing holding us back is that we got a weird, unseasonable heat wave. And we're also in the suburbs, so like our neighborhood is very, very bad for Pokemon, so we actually have to go somewhere.
Right.
Not like that's super bad, but you know what I mean. We're also, when the first boom hit 2 years ago, my kids were all younger, obviously, because that's how time works. And we just shared two accounts, mine and my wife's. But now my oldest son has his own phone, so now he's, you know, and then there's also the issue of, well, what are we going to do with all these Pokemon, and how are we going to make this work when we ultimately have to all try and figure out how to share time on this Let's Go game when it comes out in the fall, which is, if you want to talk about logistical nightmares, we have to somehow figure this out, you know, one copy of a Pokemon, like, I don't know. And we're already debating like who's going to be on what team
right
for it's bananas.
Sure.
We're going to have to buy another Switch.
Yeah, there's going to be a big family meeting, right? And some real conversations about sharing.
I think not only are we going to have real conversations about sharing, but I think I might actually have to just bow out outside
really?
I mean, realistically, Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee are definitely not targeted to me. Yeah. Right? Like, I don't think that they were made for me.
Yeah.
And so outside of like maybe playing co-op with my daughter, who's 5, you know, like maybe she'll have her own game and I'll play with her.
Yeah.
Like outside of that, like this is for the kids. And I'm okay with that. Like, I mean, they put Ikaruga on the Switch. I'll be fine.
Yeah.
Like, I'm good, bros. I'll just hang out. You guys can play the Pokemans and it'll be fine. But man, it's making Pokemon Go really complicated because it's like we all want to play.
Yeah.
But and I don't know. What about you guys?
Jesse, how about you?
Yeah, well, I've kind of been off and on of the game all the time anyway. So I kind of officially never stopped. I know a lot of people have stopped and then gotten back in. You know, so in addition to the upcoming integration with the Let's Go games, we also added the Friends capabilities like last week or the week before, and I think that has sparked more interest. And an article I read, I think it was on My Nintendo News, said that the revenues recently, due to the upspike in players, are up 174% over what they were last year.
Sounds about right.
So
sounds about right.
They're enjoying it.
Yeah.
Both the players and Niantic.
Yeah. Yeah, we never really kind of stopped playing it. I mean, it was kind of always on my phone, and you'd be out somewhere and kind of just waiting. Okay, well, it's or my wife's in the shop possibly. Okay, let's turn on Pokemon Go and can you catch a couple of things, right? Mm-hmm. So we've only had one account, one phone for it, so it's kind of been pretty active for us. Like I think my character's up to, or the character we use is up to character 20 or level 26. Yeah, I mean the kids seem to kind of really enjoy it and go for it. I do think that the association between that and Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee has just spiked that again. And then I think plus then they've put in more Pokemon. They've got the trading system aligned. I think they've done a lot of integrated changes that are just putting it on pace to be really successful. And the moment I showed my daughter the Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee video, my oldest daughter, she was like all in real fast. She's like, oh, it goes from Pokemon Go and it goes into the game, and it was like you could just see her brain explode. Yep. And I was like, yep. And that's I mean, we were down at the toy store last week, and I just said, which one do you want? You want Eevee or Pikachu? We'll just pre-order it now, right? Save ourselves some headaches, and let's get that off to the races. So I think they're excited for it, but I do think that is, to your point, definitely we're not the target audience for it. But I think if a game like whether it's Pokemon Go or Let's Go Eevee and Pikachu helps to bring young gamers into an ecosystem, then it's doing its job, right? We all have to realize that not everything in the world of Nintendo or video gaming is dedicated for us 35, 30, 40-year-old gamers, but there's an
just look at the reaction to Labo's announcement.
Yeah, exactly.
You see how many people don't understand that.
Yeah, exactly. Why did you make Labo? Where's my Metroid in Mother 3? Right? Like, simmer down now. But to bring gamers in is such an important thing. And then I think as us as parents and as fathers, how we execute on that, right? And how we engage our family, our kids in that environment and be supportive of it and allow them to do what they want to, or not necessarily they want to, but how we can do that in a way that fosters growth, I think is really important too. Now,
100%.
Stephen, 100%. Did you get a chance to play Let's Go while you were at E3?
No, I couldn't even get close to it.
No.
The line was, I couldn't even describe it if I tried. I wanted to. It was on my list of I need to play these things, but you just couldn't even get close to it. I think part of it was the way that Nintendo's booth was set up. The demo was also a little longer. Okay. So, and yeah, the line didn't move as fast as last year's Mario Odyssey line, which was basically you were running. Sure. So yeah, I just I didn't get an opportunity. I was sad. I mean, I watched a lot of it, but I didn't get a chance to play.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, I'm wondering if they'll actually put a demo out of it maybe a couple of weeks beforehand so people get early access.
So. I would presume so. It makes sense.
Yeah.
Didn't they have a demo for X and Y?
I don't know.
I thought I mean Sun and Moon.
No, there was no demo for Sun and Moon, to my knowledge.
Maybe it was X and Y then. I remember some sort of demo where you're able to then import Ash's Greninja into it in the real game. Was that X and Y?
Well, I mean,
it was something.
We have the internet, so let's find out. Was there? I'll find out.
Sure.
This is
all right.
This is how I do things on my shows. If we can't figure stuff out, I'm like, hey, we have the internet. We don't need to try and guess anything ever.
Let's just jump in.
Let's see.
I also like how the guest is doing the work here. This is fantastic.
I mean, I do this elsewhere. Oh, you know what? There was, in fact, a demo. It was on GameFAQs.com. There is a post that says, is the Pokemon XY demo still available? So I'm guessing that's it.
That could have been it.
So yeah, there must have been one if someone was asking if it was still available. And there were answers. Yes, it did. There was a demo. So you are correct.
Well done.
You get the prize. I don't know what it is. Yeah. That's the actual host's job.
I mean, I'll have to figure that one out, I guess. I mean, I'll let you gloat about that for at least a week. That's about it, though.
I approve of it.
Yeah. Nice. Well, thanks, Stephen. Appreciate that. Now, speaking of another game, level of excitement, you gentlemen were, during our pre-show, Cat Quest 2. Jesse, why don't you talk about this? Because I don't feel like I'm in depth enough to have a conversation about it.
So, I think, was it last week trying to find the date now. I posted this. I can't find it anymore. Well, last week, there was a tweet that went out saying that there was going to be a reveal on the 27th for Cat Quest II: The Lupus Empire, and I completely forgot about it until the pre-show, and I went back, and yes, there is a trailer for it. So it's gameplay looks very similar to what the original game was. You're actually battling on the map, fighting everything, all the enemies there. This one has co-op, so it's not just a single player campaign, and everything else. And the trailer says it'll be familiar and new lands. So I guess you'll start off in the Cat Kingdom, and then you'll move into the Dog Kingdom later on in the game. So
all right.
That'll be coming out. It's at early 2019. And it's
Fair.
coming out on PC and Mac via Steam, PS4, and Switch.
And Xbox One.
And Xbox One? Okay, I didn't see that one, but I think Linux.
I'm reading the press release.
Okay,
that's all.
So I saw a big line of icons on the bottom of the trailer.
Nice. Steven, you seem very excited for this.
Yeah, I missed the first game. Largely by accident, right? Like I knew it existed, I just missed it. It was very successful though. When it was around, lots of people were playing it. Some of the streamers that I follow streamed it for a little while, just because it's super adorable. And the sequel looks like more of the same, which for someone who missed the first game sounds awesome. So, any game with couch co-op that's coming to the Switch is a pretty good fit. So I'm going to put some time into this one when it comes out. I'm glad that it's not coming out for a while. There's no room in my life for new games right now.
Yeah,
no,
I don't remember the original game being extremely long. So, it's still plenty of time to catch up on the original if you missed it.
No. It's fine. Everything's cool. I'll read the wiki if I need the story. It'll be fine. But it's, there's too many games.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that really is it, right? Like it's just I was seeing someone else's kind of who does reviews as well for game sites, and the comment was, I just have too many reviews to write. I have too many games to play, and there is way too much content out that, right? Do you and Steve, I guess before we transition a little bit here, do you feel like that's a hindrance for Nintendo? Do you feel it's a hindrance for new developers or new gamers? Like, what are your thoughts on that?
So 3 questions. I'll give 3 answers. I'll keep them brief. A hindrance for Nintendo right now? No.
Yeah.
Eventually, yes. They don't want to be Steam. They don't want to be the PlayStation Store. They need to figure out discoverability. But they figured it out in the short term. But eventually, there's going to be 1,000 games on the eShop.
Yeah.
There probably already is.
It's getting close.
There's eventually going to be. I mean, this thing's going to live for a very long time. If it does, there's eventually going to be 10,000 games on the eShop. It's just going to be stupid.
Yeah.
So they need to figure that out. But short term, not a problem. Long term, I have to trust that they'll figure it out. For developers, they have to stand out. But the attach rate for indie games, especially like cheaper indie games on the Switch, is incredibly high. So it's not. There's a lot of people that have audiences kind of attached to them, like influencer-wise, where if you see a game, they buy it. Some of my readers and listeners, they hear me talk about a game on Switch, they're like, oh, I'll buy it. And, they don't even really think about it. They're just like, oh, Steve talks about it here. I had a mom whose kids are super young, bought Ikaruga because I brought it up. And their kids, Ikaruga is like... it's cool, and that kid's gonna love getting blown up by bullets. But but she just went and bought it, and she's like, "Hey, we bought Ikaruga, and my kids, can you got any tips?" I'm like, "Grow, just get, because I can't even play it.
Don't die."
Exactly. And there's a similar situation, I'm sure, with some of your fans.
Yeah.
And we brought up Cat Quest. I bet you half a dozen people are gonna go buy that just because we mentioned the name Cat Quest when it comes out, and so that helps. I don't know. They're going to have to find a way to stand out eventually, though. And then for fans, no, more games is great.
Sure.
804 games on eShop.
804.
Yep. And, 180 of them are Neo Geo games?
Yeah, exactly. Did the Wii U even have 800 games in the full life cycle?
I don't
Nope.
think so.
No, there's no way. I mean, and I know, Steve. I mean, it's a little bit inside baseball, right? But when the press release comes out on Thursday morning, right, from Nintendo, and you take a look at, like, I don't know about you, but I'm just scrolling, right, of like, Mike, there's so much content here. It's mind-boggling, and how easy. I was reading a game recently. I was like, oh, did that actually come out? And I totally missed it. Right, and we're people who stay relatively up on what's released, as we have to, and it's absolutely maddening. So yeah, interestingly enough. And actually, maybe before we dive, let me ask you, what are you drowning in then? What's the games that are keeping you busy?
So right now, I have Rainbow Skies on the PS4, Luminous Remastered. I have. What else? Oh my goodness. Let me look at my calendar. Don't mind me.
It's okay. You have to calendar it?
I don't have to, but I've started to.
Okay.
I have started calendaring everything at the request of the general. That's what I call my wife.
Sure.
Because she likes to know when I need to vanish for a weekend to play a game.
Okay. Fair enough.
So, and because of E3, I'm actually a little bit behind. So I actually have Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze, a bunch of indie games, and Mario Tennis Aces.
Yeah.
All of which I have to get done, and I have to get all of them done before. And I'm staring down Octopath Traveler.
Oh wow, jeez.
Yeah, I still haven't played that demo.
Man,
that's
let
on
me
my
tell
list.
you. Let me tell you, you are missing out.
Did you play the first one?
The first demo?
Yeah.
Yes.
Is it improved? That's because I was I was dubious after the first demo, and I'm a big RPG person.
Well, I mean, I guess it depends on. It depends on what was wrong with it from your perspective for me to be able to judge whether it was improved or not. That's kind of a
okay. Well,
I mean, by default, it's closer to being done, so it's definitely improved. But like, I don't know what your problems with it were, but
yeah, well, I don't remember either, so I'm going to have to play the demo for myself.
You should give it a go, Jesse.
I mean, it's free,
right?
So it only costs your time. So I guess it's technically
I've already
free,
got it downloaded. I just need the time.
It's real good. I recommend starting with Ophelia. Because she's amazing.
Okay.
So, and staring down that game, the good thing about this demo, and I'll just throw that out, and I know we can move on, is they finally showed off how they go from one character to the other, and it is super elegant and super cool. You basically just find them standing in town. Like in the middle of their adventure, and like they start having a conversation with you in the middle of their quest, and the game says, "Would you like to play their adventure from the beginning?" And then if you say no, then you stop the conversation with them, and you can go off on your own thing, and they just keep standing there. Or you say yes, and you start their adventure from the beginning, and you play through and do their thing, and eventually the two timelines meet, and then they join your party.
Oh, that's really cool.
Okay.
It's super rad. It's way better than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be kind of cheesy. And he clearly has the PC glow because he's got like a green thought bubble on top of him. Like, it's one of the main characters, but like, it's fine. It's so cool.
That's very cool.
I was wondering how they're going to handle that, and it sounds like a really elegant way of doing it.
It's awesome.
More so than like how Dragon Quest V did it. 5 was literally just, here's a group of people, play that party, and then cut to this new group of people. So like you're starting over 3 or 4 times, and then all of a sudden, oh, boom, here they all together. Like, oh, yeah, it wasn't elegant at all. But I like how this.
I mean, you definitely start over as these other people. Like they all start at level 1.
Right, but it's like it's like in the conversation they're talking about the flashback, and that brings it back, not just end of chapter. Here's a new chapter with new people.
Yeah, no, it's definitely
really abrupt.
It's definitely better than that. And so I started as one character, and then, went and picked somebody else up, largely by accident. I wasn't intending to. I was just wandering around doing stuff. I figured I would just restart the game, and when I actually got the actual game, and I found him, and the amount of time it took to get, because the beginning of JRPGs is the worst part, right? Like who I hate the beginning of JRPGs, and I was like, oh man, here I am. I only get 3 hours. I'm gonna waste an hour and a half of it as this dude, and it was really fast. Got right to the action. So like they put that interruption point where they meet, like right in the middle of their action. It's before they go do stuff. So it was really neat. And it's obviously gorgeous. Mechanically the fights are cool. I mean, if any of your listeners are big fans of old school JRPGs, this is an absolute must buy, period, the end, full stop. Just go buy it.
Nice.
When it comes out.
Yeah. Obviously. Excellent. Very cool. Very cool. I like that. Let's jump into... Sorry, go ahead, Jesse.
Speaking of just buying a game on a whim because people talked about it, last week I think Marty kind of joked, or someone joked, that I should look at A Magical High School Girl.
Mm-hmm.
And after looking at it a little bit, I'm like, okay, this actually sounds like something I might like. I bought it. I still haven't had a chance to play it yet, but it's staring at me on the main menu.
Peer pressure. That's right. Indeed. And then
Onomeister in the chat asked us to do a quick mention that the NES Classics are getting a re-release tomorrow.
Yes.
And apparently the controllers have already been spotted in the wild in various Walmarts or Targets.
That's great. Yeah, I've actually already seen the re-release here in Ireland. My local store here already has a couple already in stock and available to purchase. So the re-releases are there. Should be hopefully easier to find. Folks, let us know in the wild if you're able to see them. Take a photo of them and say that you've actually been able to see them. That would be fantastic. All right, so let's. I actually want to throw this over to Stephen and actually Jesse. If you want to host this for a couple moments, my fire alarm is beeping in the house here. So I'm going to go check out what's going on.
So breakfast is ready.
Yeah, breakfast is ready. So, Stephen, do you want to maybe chat about your experiences at E3 and kind of what your impressions were of it and everything that you saw there, played there? That'd be fantastic.
Sure. So, Jesse, where do you want me to start?
Okay, I wasn't expecting to do a hosting, so I might have to vamp a little bit. But let's start with just. Have you been? Is this your first E3, or have you been to E3 before?
Sure. Yes, this is my second E3. So I guess yes probably isn't the right way to start the answer to that question. But this is my second E3. I went last year. And the ESA invited us. So it was huge honor to get to go. We went last year. I brought a team. And we put a bunch of work in, met a lot of people. It was a pretty awesome trip. I got to play Mario Odyssey before it came out, which is like bucket list level stuff. This year we did the same thing. I brought another team, and we it definitely, the experience of being there once before paid off. From a work perspective. I mean, you know how that goes as a content creator. Sometimes obviously experience makes a big difference. Also, I think they invited us last year, which was the first year that they had the public there, and it did not go well. I'm surprised. I really am surprised last year that no one was hurt. The stampede to get from the main doorways to, say, the line for Mario Odyssey and things like that was terrifying. It felt like I was a salmon swimming upstream.
Right. I did hear that this year they handled the traffic control better.
Yes, it was better for two reasons. One, because they had industry hours, so a lot of the industry folks, ourselves included, were able to get our work done earlier so that we were kind of off the main show. We were able to kind of exit the main show floor during like the busiest times. So that was useful. Just kind of kept, with more hours in the day, there's less time for people to just crush into the booths. The other thing, which was, I thought it was an inconvenience when they announced it, but they actually had a no backpack policy. And it was largely for security. But the other thing, and I heard somebody talking about it on the way out, it was one of the security guards, is that half of the reason they banned backpacks was because it actually made the lines shorter. Because if you think about it, you put 15 people standing in a line, their backpacks make 10, 15 backpacks is 5 or 6 people
right
worth of line space. Plus you don't have backpacks like swinging around hitting people and knocking over displays. And I thought it was going to be a huge hazard, or not hazard, inconvenience rather, and it turned out to be not as bad as I thought. So that was really awesome. I got to play some great games. I mean, I played Mega Man 11. I tried to play Kingdom Hearts 3. But I couldn't. I know this is a Nintendo podcast, so we don't need to bring it up too much, but I tried desperately.
Anything family related qualifies.
Okay.
So,
all right.
Talk about whatever you want to talk about.
All right. So, I do want to play by the rules. I'm in your playground, but
I talk about Sony games all the time when I play them, but it's just been a while.
Yeah. I tried desperately to play Kingdom Hearts, but even during industry hours, the line was full before I got there. But I got to go behind closed doors and play the new Spyro collection. That was a treat. It's not announced for Switch. If they were asked, and they said that they were not talking about it. But, I mean, come on, guys.
Yeah,
you're putting that collection out on Switch eventually.
That's kind of a yes, but we can't say.
Yeah.
We know how to read between the lines.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll tell you what. I missed the original Spyro trilogy, just based on timing, like when it came out. I was too busy, just doing other stuff. And man, they really did a great job remaking it. They're absolutely gorgeous games. So if you have a PlayStation 4 or an Xbox One or a PC, I think it is an absolutely worthy purchase to play with your kids. I can't wait. This is probably going to be like my daughter's first game, she's 5, and I think this is right in there. I think what's interesting is my sons, their first game was Skylanders. That's the first game that was theirs. Uh-huh. And I really think Spyro is going to be hers. That is hers, that she can play. Ironic that
show your kids. You know that game you liked? This is where he got his start.
Yeah, that's what's so interesting, right? It's they fell in love with Spyro through Skylanders. And so to be able to see him in a different light, I think is kind of neat. And obviously Skylanders moved well beyond Spyro, very quickly. I'm sure you guys talked about it a ton while it was a big deal. But but being able to play those original 3 games, and they lovingly remastered those games. They're not even remastered. I can't even call them that. They had to remake the games from the ground up. There are no reused assets. There's no reused code. Nothing. They actually had to create a tool that they ran on top of the original game in a debug unit. They called it the Spyroscope, that allowed them. Yeah, they lost points for the bad name, but whatever. It's this piece of software that they created that kept track of all the math for Spyro while he was running around the levels. And so because they really were obsessed with making sure that he had the same feel. So he runs at the same speed. He turns at the same rate. His jump is the same number of frames. Now, the frames are completely different, obviously, because they remade them in super amazing HD quality. But half a second into his jump animation, he's the same number of frames and the same distance off the ground that he was in the original game. And they made absolutely certain to do all that. And that didn't mean a huge amount to me because I didn't play it, but I was in the room with other journalists. Interestingly enough, I was in a room full of dudes from the UK. It was just me and 6 dudes from the UK that were all there for our behind the closed doors appointment. And they had all played it before. So I had the benefit of sitting there with all them, and they were they were all commenting on, man, I remember playing this game even though I've never played this game before. And I thought that was, that was telling. And I played the new Crash Bandicoot level that's coming out, I think tomorrow. And I'm terrible at Crash Bandicoot, but I'm I'm forgiving myself because it's a terrible video game. So any of your listeners Crash fans, I'm sorry, shots fired. They can at me if they want.
I never owned a PS1, so I missed that era of gaming. Yeah, so okay. I never played Crash. I never played Spyro.
The Spyro Reignited trilogy, man. It's so good. It's so good.
So I have no nostalgia for these games, but again, I'm glad that the games are out there for others.
I think they stand up even without nostalgia, if I may. But maybe don't buy them new. Eventually, they'll be super cheap. So some of the other stuff, I got my hands on the Dragon Quest XI. Speaking of JRPGs, I got to play Dragon Quest XI. What is it? Echoes of a Forgotten Age or whatever. I don't know. Some stupid subtitle. It was really good.
Probably alliterative.
Play this game. Something elusive age. I cannot wait to play this game. It was absolutely gorgeous. I played it on the PS4. My demo was painfully short. It was only 15 minutes. And yeah. Well, I mean, there were 100 people online, so they were trying to keep it simple. They really did a good job of, putting the hand-drawn animated characters on rendered backgrounds. I thought when I was walking up, I thought it was going to look kind of cheesy. It really doesn't. What's interesting is the animated characters make the backgrounds pop, and vice versa, which really kind of caught me off guard. So that's coming out later on this year, September 9th, I want to say. It comes out a few days before Spider-Man, or maybe a few days after. So, make that decision, folks. And I played Mega Man, and I think that's probably my favorite thing that I played. Actually, no, it's not. I can't even say that because it wasn't my game of the show. I played Mega Man 11. Are you guys Mega Man dudes?
I am. I enjoy the Mega Man.
And so Marty is too. Marty's probably more so, but
is Marty the dude whose icon is the Mega Man?
Yes.
So I'm looking at your Patreon right now. So Marty is the Mega Man. All right, that's fair. If he wasn't a Mega Man fan, I was going to be like, why did you trap him in that little blue body? That's so mean.
He's really a fan of Yoshi, but we were like, you know what? You're the new guy.
You can be whatever. You get to be Mega Man. That's fine. I like it. So. Let me ask you this, because the way I describe this will depend on your opinion. How afraid were you when they announced Mega Man 11?
I wasn't afraid at all in any way.
Okay.
Like, I'm not a person who's like, it has to feel exactly the same. Like, I was also a fan who was like, you know what? Mighty Number 9 is not the worst game, but I appreciate what they're trying to do.
Mighty Number 9 was a project management disaster, not a game disaster.
Correct.
They should have made it. If they had made that for one console...
Yeah.
Instead of 47. I mean, I think they put it out on a toaster somewhere in Japan.
Yeah.
Like if they had put it out for one console, I think that game would have been better. But because they were focused so much on, because it's a Kickstarter and because they're not Yacht Club, like they just don't, the project management murdered Mighty Number 9. But okay, so I have a number of huge Mega Man fans in my community, and to the point where they were like, you must go play Mega Man 11 and you must tell us exactly how every frame of animation feels. And I was like, well, no, but I'll play it. And I told them to tell me what to look for and what to pay attention to.
I like it.
Huh?
Brutally honest.
Brutally
I
honest.
like it.
Yeah. Listen, I mean, you get what you get with me, for better or for worse. So they told me that what they wanted me to check out, really, we compromised, and it feels like a Mega Man game.
Nice.
He jumps like Mega Man. He shoots like Mega Man. There were no, the animation style is just that. It's a skin. And I think it's a skin that it needed, because if they put out, Capcom could not put out a pixel art Mega Man in a post Shovel Knight world.
Yeah. I was glad they didn't go 8-bit like they did with 9 and 10.
Yeah. I think 9 and 10 needed to be pixel. I think they needed to be. I think it made a lot of sense, and that helped them sell, and that helped people love them. But you can't do it would look cheap, because no matter what you do, it's not going to look like Shovel Knight. So just give up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so they did this awesome.
I've seen criticisms about Octopath Traveler saying this can't be a $60 game because the graphics look like 16-bit. No, that doesn't matter. It's still a 60 to 80-hour game. You've got content. It's worth the money.
Yeah, that's those folks. I mean, I don't know. There's mad people about everything.
Yeah, those are the people that complain about 55 frames a second versus 60.
I can't even tell. So it feels like the animation style, I mean, it's so smooth. The thing I liked about it more than the animation style, I thought that was great, but I really love the sound. Just the way that it sounded. The way he he does this cool little anime shout when he jumps, and it just sounds awesome. This game is going to be a treat.
Yeah.
I love it. The only problem I had is my demo was so short because I am terrible at video games. And they only gave you one game over, and it's a Mega Man game.
Right.
And it had no problem dropping a brick on my head and killing me.
Yeah.
Not any compunction at all. It was like, hey, Steve, here's a brick. And I was like, well, I'm done. The shifting gears mechanic is also super rad.
Nice.
Being able to either slow down time or speed up time in a very elegant way, because you can go the other direction just by hitting a bumper and boost your damage, which is, in essence, speeding up time.
Yeah.
And it's great. It's
That's
so
awesome.
good. You're going to pick it up in 2 seconds, and it's going to feel like you've been able to do it forever.
Yeah.
My game of the show, however, Starlink, Battle for Atlas.
Yeah, let's have a conversation about that, shall we? You convince me. No, I shouldn't say convince me. Explain to me why.
Sure. It's the best Star Fox game ever made.
Stop. Yeah. Okay.
Full stop. If you like Star Fox, and I'm not even talking about even without Star Fox being in it. I mean, the fact that Star Fox is in it on Switch, that's rad. Take Star Fox out, play it on the Xbox. It's still the best Star Fox game ever made. It's Star Fox with an open world and Lost Planet kind of bosses.
Yeah.
Forget about it. It's pretty. The bosses are cooler. I mean,
I've heard a lot of people describe it, and let me ask you this: a little bit No Man's Sky-ish.
Yeah, it's No Man's Skylanders.
Yeah. Okay, that's fantastic. Did you end up playing it with the Joy-Con toy thing? Because here's the thing: I ain't got time for plastic toys anymore.
So then buy it digitally, because you don't need to buy the toys.
Okay, that was a little bit of my question. You don't need to do any of that, right?
You can buy it digitally. With that said, they still cost money.
Yeah.
But if you don't want the toys, you can buy it, and you don't need them. So buy it digital.
Okay.
And so.
Yeah. So tell me what else about this game, and what else does
So here's how my demo went. The only bad side of my demo is that the lady doing my demo had no sense of personal space and was really right there. And I'm sure she's a lovely person, but I really felt like I was too close to her. But anyway, that was the only bad side of my demo. I played it on Xbox One. The flight mechanics were it took me a couple seconds to get my bearings, because it flies a little differently. Because the key is you can be in atmosphere and then you can be out of atmosphere, and so switching in and out is a little hard, because there's a bunch of planets that are huge, and so you can fly from planet to planet or explore them, and there's quests on each planet and there's quests out in space. So the demo, they had you fly to a planet, bust through the atmosphere, and do a bunch of quests on this one greenish planet.
Yeah.
Right. And so I went and did it. There was one was like an event boss, which is a series of, there's a bunch of ads running around, just weird monsters, and then you had to fly around in a circle and shoot these individual targets, which opened up a thing in the middle, which you had to blow up. And so you had to repeat that pattern a little bit. That was neat, because it really forced you to learn how to fly in, and reposition yourself to kind of carefully aim, which took me a little bit. But once I got it, it felt supernatural and cool. And then once you finish that, it moves you on to the next objective, where you fight this giant rock spider thing.
Okay.
And what I really liked about the rock spider monster, it had a name. Forgive me, I can't remember. I killed it though.
All right.
It does this thing where it lifts one of its legs and has a weak spot underneath, like in its armpit, and you have to shoot that. And then its head opens up, and you shoot the red stuff, a la Lost Planet.
Yeah.
Super fun. The weapons, just when you build your ship, two of the things you put on are the two different weapons.
Yeah.
They all work differently. They combo off of each other. So at one point I had a vortex blaster thing, or a vortex cannon that shot vortexes, which were AoE, but also area control and also a slow. So it would actually pull things in, including you if you fly too close to it.
Nice.
Which I was annoyed with then, but now I think it's super cool. But if you shot ice homing missiles at it, it turned into a frost vortex and did frost damage repeatedly to everything in the area. And man, it was just so satisfying to just shoot that thing right in the face with a vortex and then hit it with homing ice missiles and then hit it with frost. It was great. You take damage, you can fly away from the monster, and once you're outside of the area, you start regenerating your health. So, I would take a little bit of damage and I'd fly away and spin around, and just that feeling of flying away and spinning around and facing the enemy and flying right back at it was such a cool feeling. It felt like I was playing Star Fox, but I could actually control myself the way I wanted to, as opposed to having it be entirely on rails. It's, man.
This will be interesting because this is the game that I think, people saw the announcement and went, yeah, that looks really cool. And then they said, here's some toys. And everyone went, yeah, not for me. I'm going to walk away.
Sure.
But I think you're not the only person who said that there's something there beyond just the toy.
I think if this game fails, it will not be because of the gameplay. It'll be because people are disinterested in the toys. Yeah. And I think a lot of that is going to really depend on how quote unquote burned people feel from the Skylanders Disney Infinity Lego Dimensions thing. Because there really are two camps. There are people who bought those figures. One of my, my board game editor, Linda, her family they have all the Skylanders games, but they bought them like 3 years after they came out. So for them, this was more or less a $1 store purchase. So they have some stuff, and when they're done with it, they give it to friends or whatever. So they don't have years worth of clutter and, thousands of dollars invested. So for them, the idea of Battle for Atlas is great. It's a couple of toys. They sit on a shelf. My wife saw me come home and go, yeah, Battle for Atlas was my game of the show. And she went, oh, man. Because I've been running Engaged Family Gaming for 5 years. Yeah. And one of the very first things I did was Skylanders. Skylanders came out right around that time. Yeah. And man, it was, we have tons of them. So dealing with that will, I get to say it's for work. So that's why I get to override that. Yeah. But, there's a lot of families that are probably in a similar boat where the general or something like that will be like, man, I don't want any more of those toys. Yeah. You can buy them digitally. So maybe that'll overcome it. I don't know how cheap it'll be if you're buying them without the toy, though. They really didn't give a lot of detail on that.
Yeah. Yeah, and it is like I remember. So they showed this off. Did they not show this off last year at E3?
It was last year. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I remember I
did 2
E3 portion of it, or they showed off the treehouse maybe. And I remember Zach was like, "Check out this video," and I was like, "Oh, this is really cool. This looks great." And then there was like, "And here's how you build the toys." And I was like, "I'm out.
I get it. Yeah, I empathize with you. The good news is you can do it digitally.
Yeah.
For those listening, if you are into the toys and you're like, man, the ship attaches to the controller, how heavy is that going to be? They are very well balanced. I didn't even notice that there was a spaceship on my controller. And I was using an Xbox One controller. Yeah. Those things are that's like the size of a Toyota Camry, and I had a spaceship on it. I didn't even notice. Even cooler, all the different pilots have different superpowers.
Yeah.
The ships are all different weights. They handle differently. They have different armor values.
Yeah.
There's wings that you put on that deal with how fast you go, how fast you turn, your amount of turbo.
Yeah.
All super customizable. I took my ship apart and rebuilt it in the middle with a different pilot, and it was like playing a completely different game.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was.
Did they talk at all about this being an online option at all?
I'm sure it will have some, but they didn't say anything.
Yeah, because I think that'd be kind of a neat kind of squad up kind of thing with your friends and explore planets or whatever together. That's cool. Very cool. Very, very cool. So Starlink, eh? Okay.
Starlink, the Battle for Atlas. I think the name just sounds rad.
Sure.
If I may, but yeah, that was my game of the show, and it took me completely by surprise.
Yeah. Nice.
So the winning team gets the developers of the Persona series.
Say again?
No, you're not fighting. You're not fighting literally Atlas. I'm guessing Atlas is their galaxy. If you were fighting the people who make Persona, like, it's a bunch of artists making emo teenagers. Like, I mean, I got a spaceship. I think I could take them.
I win.
Because I got a spaceship.
Yeah.
Unless they someone in Izagi, then you're in trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, well, that's fair.
Now, I know you stepped away to fix the smoke alarm. Always love it when your battery is dying on your smoke alarm and it's causing the beeping throughout the house. It's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Quick summary: Smash, yay, nay, happy with it? Are you reading Smash?
Smash is great. I did not get to play it because they did a thing where you had to set up an appointment. But
that's right, they did.
And we couldn't figure out. It was complicated. We couldn't figure out how to schedule an appointment. And by the time we figured it out, we were like, you know what? I'm buying this game anyway.
Yeah.
Smash in my house, day one purchase. I'd buy it. I'd pay double to play it 3 days early. Like,
really?
This is. We are a Smash house. And so I was in LA watching. We were at breakfast watching the Nintendo event on our phone. I was getting ready to go to an appointment and I was watching it. And when they announced that all the characters were in Smash, I think I heard my son's hype level, like, from Connecticut. Like, he basically crossed the continent with his energy. Because my son, my oldest son is 12, and his mains are Ryu and Cloud. So up until that announcement, he was like, "Dad, are they gonna make me change characters?" And I was like, "Yes, 100% yes."
Yeah. I need you to start mentally processing this right now. Go through the whole change management thing. If we need to get a therapist, we can start talking about these things. But you need to be ready.
Nintendo is gonna move your cheese, kid.
Yeah.
They're moving your cheese, and he was he's old enough to like not freak out about stuff like that, but he was bummed because Ryu and Cloud are his dudes.
Yeah.
And when he found out that he did not have to change mains, that he loved, he was so hype. But then at the same time, like, he loves Ice Climbers and he loves Pichu and like all these older characters, and they're back. And so that alone was worth it. But then just, the way that they announced it and just, Smash, we are a Smash house. I'm terrible at the game.
Yeah.
I'm awful at Smash, but I still love it. I love everything about it. This is I don't know how anybody could not be a fan of Smash. Are either of you guys not fans of Smash?
So
funny you ask.
Yeah, you go ahead, Jesse.
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
Man, how can we? Then I don't know if we can be friends.
Yeah, but my son is. So and he.
All right. Okay. He makes up for you.
He actually, he's kind of semi-competitive. He's gone to tournaments and got like local tournaments around here and got like top 8 out of.
So he's one of them.
There were only 9 people that attended.
No, it was like 30.
Listen.
It was like 24 people, I think.
No, I don't care if there was 9. You top 8 at a tournament. That is rad. I don't care if there's 8.
Anyway, so he doesn't get very excited over things. He's kind of got a calm demeanor, but when he was watching that trailer, he got hyped, and I really wish I was recording that because that would have made good YouTube content.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's relatable content, man. Hype out the. All right, before I get hype, now you disappoint me. Go ahead.
So I'm not good at it, and so here's the thing: is I appreciate for what it is. I appreciate that a lot of people have like huge nostalgia and love for it. The entries that I had played, like I had played a little bit on the the GameCube, or sorry, the GameCube, I apologize, the N64 for it when I was, a young teenager. Was not great at it. And then I didn't pick it up at all during the GameCube era. Tried playing it on the Wii, and that was okay-ish. Played it on the Wii U, that was okay-ish, but it's never grabbed me. But I appreciate that it is a love letter for everything Nintendo, and that every character's there, and the detail, the nostalgia. I'm not good at it either. That's the other thing. So I don't have that the thick nostalgia that you would have to draw you into it, right? From playing it as much younger and not being very good at it. Now, I will say, I have said that, but I will also say, and the people in our Patreon and our chat will hold me honest here, I have already gone down and I've pre-ordered it. So I know I will get it. And the reason is because I know I want to play with our community of friends. I just know that I'm not great at it right now. If you'd said, hey, by the way, we've got 20 minutes of footage for Metroid Prime, I probably would not have blinked for 20 minutes, right? So that's kind of how I feel about Smash.
Okay, so you don't disappoint me too much. Here's your entire problem. I just diagnosed your entire problem with Smash.
I play within the Wii U.
No. I mean, that probably didn't help. But you missed the GameCube one.
Yep.
Because it's not just about the quality of that game, because I'm not one of those Melee guys. But that was that would have been a good age where a party fighting game would have been good for you, because it was great for me.
Yeah.
And so I say that not knowing exactly how old you are, but I think you and I are in the same vicinity.
Yep.
I was born in 1980 for those who care. So for me, Melee came out like I was just in that point where I really just wanted a party game.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to and that's what it was to me. That's what Smash is to me. It's not a fighting game, it's a party game.
Yeah.
But I respect it as a fighting game. But if I want to play a fighting game, I want to play Street Fighter.
Yeah.
Because I'm really a Street Fighter guy.
Yeah.
More than even a Smash guy. I get so hype about Street Fighter. I'm such an idiot like that. But so that was your problem. That's it.
Yeah.
If we can go back in time and
I'm an 81 baby, so like we are not far off at all. But yeah, and that's the thing is whenever I talk about fans or talk to people about it, they do have the GameCube nostalgia for it.
And we were asked what's the big deal about the GameCube controllers? Why was it a big deal to be playable on the Wii U, playable on the Switch, and that's why. You're right. Yeah, there are also, if you think about it, the Wii had terrible controllers.
Yeah, and the online infrastructure was horrible.
What online infrastructure?
I don't even care about that. I'm just speaking specifically about the nostalgia for the GameCube controller. Is that they had a GameCube controller which is not great. The GameCube controller is really not great, but it was good and you made do.
Yeah.
The Wii controller situation was a hot mess.
Yeah.
The Wii U controller situation, also a hot mess. So in all those situations, as we fast forward, it's like, no, we want to keep using the GameCube because it was better than the alternatives. And there's nostalgia levels too, but it's also just it's functionally better than both the Wii U and the Wii's controllers.
Yeah.
I would argue now all the people that are going to go and buy all these fancy hookups for using a GameCube controller for their Wii U or for their Switch rather, that's a cardinal sin, I understand, for their Switches. Just simmer down and just go buy yourself a Pro controller.
Yeah.
Because you'll be fine.
Yep.
I promise. And then you'll be able to use it for more than just one game.
Yeah. Yep. My son actually prefers using a GameCube-ish controller for Smash over the Wii U Pro controller.
Mm. Yeah, I'm not going out and buying any fancy controller for this. I'm using what I have here, which is my Pro controller, and it'll be just fine.
Yeah, the controller he uses is shaped like a GameCube, but it's got the port on the other end that plugs into the nunchuck port into a Wii remote.
So Steven, let me ask you this about Smash then. Who's your main? So you're getting it on day one, you're showing up, you're popping the cartridge in after you maybe you've licked it to verify it tastes like, garbage.
No. I make my wife do that.
Oh, that's good. That's good footage right there.
That's good Instagram content.
Exactly. Who do you go to straight for?
Mario.
Mario, eh?
Which is probably wrong. Like, I know he's not like OMG top tier, but I play Mario because I've always played Mario.
Yep.
I want to play Luigi well. Like Luigi, like I want to play Luigi, but I'm terrible. With that said, because my daughter is now old enough where it matters, I think I may be choosing whatever character she asks me to play. Like my favorite character is really random. Like I just love playing just because I'm bad at it no matter who I play. So I don't really panic about picking somebody that's optimal. Yep. So I'm probably going to let her choose. So I'll probably end up being like Rosalina or Peach or Daisy, her Echo character. And I'm super okay with that. You know, I played Ryu for a while because, I'm a Street Fighter guy, but like that just felt weird. Mario is the guy I want to play as first. There's just something about him.
Sure. The OG, the original, right? Right.
Yeah, right.
Nice.
Are we allowed to say OG? Is that okay?
I don't know. People in the chat, let us know. Are you guys okay with us using the term
OG? Are we allowed
OG?
to say OG?
My kids want to disown me whenever I use terminology like that, but
sure.
Of course, I don't care.
I wasn't asking our children. I was asking the people around us.
I'd also refer to our Twitter conversation, Stephen, where you said this is going to be lit.
Yeah, I did, and you know what? I did that intentionally.
That's good. I like it.
To be super obnoxious. I at the day job, I'm allowed to use phrases like that once a week, but only in specific situations, and they require prior authorization. So I need to, reach out to the people around me because I'm the old man around a whole bunch of other folk, and so they help me.
Yeah.
So. I just like to verify. There's people involved for me normally.
Yeah. You gotta do a little. You like put it out there as a feeler, check it out, see if there's some head nodding. Do I use it in the right context? Are we feeling good about these decisions?
No, I say, guys, is this okay for me to say lit now? And they go, yeah, and then I say the sentence with lit in it. Yeah. That's how I do it.
Nice.
So that's because then I get the joke twice.
Yes.
If you think about it.
That's a doubling down, is what that is. Mm-hmm. Smart play. I like it.
Efficiency.
Yeah. So
efficiency.
The controller. The controller I want to see made is like a Wavebird 2.0. So
that's unquestionably going to happen.
A wireless controller shaped and with the same heft as the original Wavebird, but just natively pairs to a Switch.
Nintendo has figured out that they can print money.
Yes.
Right. But they didn't do it for the Wii U, and I'm surprised.
Because they didn't realize they could print money. This is the thing about Nintendo is the NES Classic taught them that they can just mold some plastic in the shape of something old and people will buy it. Yeah. If they made a Wavebird 2 or a Wavebird Pro or whatever they wanted to call it, it would sell like crazy. I'm not a betting man anymore because I paid for that once. I made a bet with someone on another podcast that I am on. I guaranteed that the Switch would come out the September before it came out. And if it didn't come out, that I would let them choose the game that I streamed for Extra Life. And they made me play Star Stables. Do you know what Star Stables is, guys?
No.
Star Stables is a horseback riding MMO targeted at tween girls.
That's epic.
Let me tell you. Here's the real problem. Not only was it not great, it wasn't bad, right? Like it was tolerable, and it's an MMO, so I was like, it's fine. I was pretending it was World of Warcraft. The real problem is, like, it's a game targeted at tween girls, and I'm like an old dude, and so they kept trying to talk to me, and I couldn't figure out how to set it up so that I couldn't be talked with. I don't think that there were because I tried to just like ignore everybody, but like every time I tried to turn in a quest, everybody would try and chat with me, and I'm like, I really no, I don't want to talk to you. And it felt rude because I was like, oh man, this like 9-year-old girl's trying to talk to me, and she's like mad because I'm not going to be her friend, and I'm like, really? It's like unethical for me to talk to you, and I know I'm hurting your feelings. So it turned into like a stealth action game trying to turn in quests because I was like just rolling in trying to turn in these quests without people seeing me, but I'm on a horse that doesn't control very well, so it's just a nightmare. So I'm not a betting man anymore. That's the long road for this.
Sure, great.
It feels like easy money that they're going to make a Wave Bird 2. Is all I'm saying.
Yeah,
that was a long road to get back to that. But
no, that's fair.
Wave Bird 2 is a thing.
Yeah,
I figured your audience would want to hear the Star Stable story.
No, I think it's fantastic. I mean, that's the best thing. I was hoping you were going to say like, and that was the people tuned in the most just to watch that.
It was, oh man, it was so bad. It was so bad. Well, and the other problem is we ran out of content because it's one of those ones where you got to pay a lot in order to like keep doing stuff. So like, I also ran out of stuff to do. I had to ask permission to stop because otherwise it's like, do you really want me to just run in circles?
Yeah.
Because we ran out of everything to do.
Yeah, that's never good.
Yeah, I mean, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
I like it though. I like it. All right. Well, let's jump into a little bit of quick what we've been playing, and then we'll start wrapping this up. So let's start off. Now, Stephen, you did mention before you had been playing some games. Anything else you want to kind of a ton that you've been reviewing, but anything else you want to kind of add to your docket or kind of give us impressions of?
Yeah. Listen, what do you guys think about Luminous?
I have. You know what? I don't know enough about Luminous. Tell me more about it.
It's a block clearing puzzle game. It sure is.
Right.
It's a video game. I think it's suffering from its own hype for me. Like I listen to GameScoop from IGN, right? And like Justin Davis is like, it's the best puzzle game ever made, and I'm like, wow. Like better than Tetris, because I love me some Tetris. I'm like, fine. So they sent me the code, and I'm playing it, and I mean, it's good and it's neat. The music makes my wife angry, so I don't want to do that. Because that's just not great. Because it's got like this thumping like dubstep. I'm just too old to really appreciate it, I think. But it's neat and it is very Zen-like. So I mean it's cheap. It's like $15. So if you're into block clearing puzzle games, I think it's required reading. At least it'll tide you over well until Tetris Effect hits this fall.
Nice.
Okay. So I think it's $15. You can't really go wrong. And Rainbow Skies. Let's talk about Rainbow Skies briefly. It is a tactical. It's a grid-based tactical role-playing game. It's the original was called Rainbow Moon. It came out on PS3 and Vita like forever ago. It's on PS4 now. Rainbow Skies is better than it has any right to be. It's a fun little turn-based role-playing game. The strategy's pretty deep. The characters are neat. It's not gonna be anybody's game of the generation.
Right.
It's one of those games that like it's cheap. Rainbow Moon has on occasion been on sale for like $3 during flash sales on the PSN. So like maybe throw that on like a wish list, or I have like a little list of paper that I keep near my PlayStation. So like whenever there's something on sale, I'll just go check them all to see if they're cheap enough. Maybe throw that on that list if you have something like it, and just check every once in a while, especially during Japan does their Golden Week during the holidays. If you can get that game for under $10, it's outright theft. Nice. Just outright theft, and so you're morally obligated to do it, I think.
Nice. And that's Rainbow Moon.
It's called Rainbow Moon. Well, Rainbow Moon is the original game. Rainbow Skies is the new one. Rainbow Moon is great, and you could probably get that for $1.50. And I mean, during a sale, and grab that. But Rainbow Skies is pretty good too. It's basically more of the same with more features.
Nice.
Other than that, man, I've been playing so many games. So many games. I've been getting back into Hearthstone. You guys play Hearthstone?
Do not, no. Jesse, how about you?
I tried once or twice. Didn't really, that type of genre isn't mine. I think Zach played a bit of it.
Yeah, Zach played Hearthstone, yeah.
I kind of want to stream it. Is what I'm kind of thinking. Because my kids really love opening the packs. My daughter specifically. So I'm thinking, I think we're ramping up towards the end of the summer. I'm going to start streaming it. Nice. We love Magic the Gathering in this house. And Hearthstone is cheaper. So we're probably going to do that. Yeah. Other than that, I mean, I've played everything. I'm sure we're all playing the same stuff.
Yeah, probably. Cool. All right. Excellent. Thanks, Steve. Appreciate it. Jesse, what have you been playing? You've been playing. I've been interested in what you've been playing. That's very rare for me to say, by the way, that I'm interested in what you're playing.
Right.
But what are you playing, Jesse?
Well, first let's start out with a game I tried to play but didn't get it.
This is the one I'm not interested in. But okay, go ahead.
Probably. I don't know. So this is from the developer Skunk that I've been brought up before on the show.
Oh, right. Yes.
So the game is Storm Chaser Tornado Alley for the new 3DS. And
Hold on.
What?
YouTube.com. I'm going to look this up. Carry on.
Okay, so the last time I brought them up, I panned their game. It was literally a 50-cent game. I said, for 50 cents, it's worth looking at it, but it's not going to be, a 2-hour epic, much less a 60-hour epic. But it was for 50 cents, sure, give it a try. And they said, they actually heard me. They listened to the show, apparently. And they said, I'll give you a review code for our next game. So they came out, they gave me a code, and I gave it a try. And I booted it up, and I literally couldn't figure out what I was doing. The only thing I could figure out how to do was to move my camera behind me. And so I actually had to go in and read the manual, which is something I've never had to do in a game before. So once I've done that, I know how to move my little buggy. I have this vehicle you drive around onto this relatively plain lot that just drives around in a square, and then in the lower corner you see the radar when the storms come in, and you're able. The goal of it is to do like live stream the storm as it comes along. You have to you have a camera that can be aimed independently of the direction of your vehicle.
This sounds like an objectively bad game.
Yeah. I'm on the eShop right now, and the title is "Stream the Best Storm Footage and Gain Followers."
Yes, it's like it's a YouTube channel simulator.
Oh my.
Okay, I'm gonna be real. I would play a YouTube channel simulator. Like somebody make that happen.
Anyway, so after reading the directions, I was able to get the buggy moving, and I can hear the rain, I can see the rain, I can hear the thunder, but I couldn't see the actual storm to get the camera on it to do anything. And so what I was wanting to do is record footage of this game, put it on the YouTube channel, so my brother-in-law can look at it and see what he thinks, because he is a storm chaser. That's his hobby. And so he's actually live streamed his runs before. So this is something that would be near and dear to his heart.
This is priced at $18.89.
It is. It's.
I just can't. I don't want that. Who buys this? Who wants this?
I don't know. I'm not going to say 50 cents, but maybe a $5 game might get more people to be interested in trying it.
Hold on. Still, for $5, you can buy Battleheart on your iPhone, and that's an amazing game. I mean, I can come up with so many better things to do with $5 than this.
Well, we're comparing about $5 on eShop money. So
still, it's money's money,
right?
$5 is a $5 discount on Legend of Zelda: A Link Between Worlds.
Yeah.
Anyway, so so this is me saying, because we got the code, so we wanted to talk about it a little bit in the show. I played it. I tried to play it. Didn't last long. So
that's fair. That was very kind of you to give it some coverage.
You lasted longer than I would have.
Yeah, right. I actually just have to get off the webpage as quick as possible.
Okay, so the game that I actually could put time in was the Donkey Kong DLC for Mario and Rabbids.
Oh man,
and that
nice.
Is it good? Is it really good?
It's good. It's more of the same. You're more limited because you don't get a character swap. You're stuck with the 3 characters you're stuck with, which is fine. Because
that sounds great.
I pretty much when I play the main game, I switch characters very little anyway. So so you have the Donkey Kong, Rabbid Peach, and a Rabbid Cranky, and just in the cutscenes, the way that the 2 rabbits just interact with each other is funny. Like there was one that I made a video and put it on Twitter yesterday. After opening a chest to getting like a new item unlock or tokens for the skill tree unlock, so something pretty significant. The Rabbid Peach takes the cane from Cranky, puts her phone on the end, and turns it into a selfie stick.
Nice.
And Cranky's getting mad and yelling up until just half a second before she pushes the button, because then he's sitting there smiling for the picture. Yeah. So it's funny how they interact. So I think I'm in the last world.
Yep.
And so I won't go into, I won't give anything spoilery yet. But I'm enjoying it. There's a lot of puzzles that are required to solve, and then when you do, it normally unlocks an optional puzzle that you don't have to solve to advance. But if you do, it gives you access to more weapons.
Nice.
And then, of course, throughout the area between the battles, there are other just optional puzzles that will give you minor unlocks, like a 3D render in the library, or
sure.
A soundtrack, things like that. So there's this one puzzle at the end of I think it's the third world. I don't remember if I'm counting the worlds right. That I was able to beat the mandatory one barely. Mm-hmm. It was I just happened to stumble across it. It took me about half an hour to poke it at that one, and I couldn't solve the optional one. So I'm gonna have to do a walkthrough on that to get to that optional area.
Fair enough. But you're enjoying it then, yeah?
I'm enjoying it. Yeah, it's when they announced it, they said it was going to be about half the content of the main game.
Yeah.
But it's not quite true. Okay. As they're saying, it might be like 4 worlds instead of 8, or I don't remember how many. But each world isn't 10 levels like the main game was.
Sure. Okay.
So they're only, I think the first one had 6. The second one only had 4 or 5. So there are less levels per world.
Right.
So overall, it sounds like a 5-ish hour thing to finish.
Okay. Good. Nice. I'm excited to dig into that too. Obviously, being a big Donkey Kong fan, so we'll jump into that. Cool.
Yeah. So it's treated completely like a separate mode. So
yes.
And you're starting over at level 0 with with just your basic weapons, and then it works the same way as the main game did. You find weapon unlocks, or when you beat bosses of worlds, it unlocks more things you can buy.
Yeah, and I do think for anyone who maybe hasn't played Rabbids and just wanted to jump straight into this, you do have to have at least completed the world 1 before you can before you can actually
because
play this.
in the opening cutscene, if you haven't beat World 1, there's a spoiler to World 1, which is why that's required.
Yeah, exactly. Cool. Very cool, Jesse. More to come on that, I'm sure, as well. For myself, I have been playing Mario Tennis Aces for the last little bit here, and I never played a Mario Tennis Aces game prior to this in any way, and I have mixed feelings on it, to be completely honest. I think it's a fantastic fighting game in a lot of ways. The mechanics feel very fighter-esque. I'm having a lot of fun with it, but it is a lot harder than I actually expected it to be. There is a definite level of strategy and depth that I was not, I think, anticipating. And it's used through the gauge shot meters that you have the ability to kind of charge, and that allows you to either slow down time, or use your special shot. I find myself pretty much every level I go to, and this is on the single player adventure mode, that I will, and the challenges that you have to complete in there and the tasks are really quite good. Like in the last one I did, I had to hit all of the shy guys within 3 minutes, essentially. I had to hit down 30 shy guys, essentially, in 3 minutes as the stage moved, and block shots, which is great. But I always find I never get in the first try. I have to come back probably 3 or 4 times. So I'm always learning more and more about the levels as I'm doing it. And Mario continues to get experience points. So it's a lot of fun, but it's definitely, like I said, there's a level of strategy. If you're thinking it's just hey, I'm going to hit A and hit a ball back and forth, you are definitely wrong. But I am enjoying it. The thing that I'm kind of challenged with is it feels, I guess what I would say to this is it feels like it's missing some Nintendo magic. That's the best way I could kind of use to describe some of that. And I think it feels like the care wasn't there in the same way that I would normally expect. The commentary between scenes or as you're moving through is not done by a short video, but rather, dialogue bubbles back and forth. The story is relatively thin in the first player. It's basically the Infinity War Gauntlet story and having to collect the stones around the kingdom. So there's a little bit of I kind of said before, it feels like there's two developments of this. One side that developed the first player side of it, the other side that did like the online, and that those two teams maybe didn't talk as much because it feels like some of that should have been connected a little bit more. Some of the user interface and menus, especially when you're online, is a little bit weird, and just which level do you want to choose? It feels like there was a good idea for a game and they went about 70% of it, but there's the 30% missing where they could have really just tuned it up, made it look a little bit better, put a little bit more love and care into it. And I think it would have been a really, really good game. I'm still enjoying it, still having fun with it. I still think I'll be playing it for quite a while, but it's just not quite what I was fully expecting from Nintendo in relation to this. Feels like a little bit of a swing and a miss, but there's a lot of great content with it as well. Steven, have you been playing this?
Yes, a lot.
What do you think of it? Am I completely off to base? Is it, am I crazy here?
No, I don't think you're crazy. I mean, I think you're kind of wrong, but I don't think you're crazy.
Sure.
But that's, I mean, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean, I think, maybe, all right, let me rephrase a little bit because it's late. Now that I think about it, I think I'm shifting opinions a little bit. I think I do agree with you. I think it's great, right? Like, I think it is great. I don't think it's immaculate. And that's the problem is, when I played Breath of the Wild, like, that changed my life.
Yeah.
Maybe not literally, but you know what I mean? Like, when I play Mario Odyssey, that game is immaculate. When I play Mario Kart, right? Like, it's just perfect. Yeah. Mario Tennis is great. And so, when Nintendo hits nothing but home runs, it's weird when they hit a triple.
And
you know what I mean?
Yeah, and maybe that is it. Maybe this is the first time in the Switch's life cycle, other than 1-2 Switch, with Nintendo.
That doesn't count. That was a bunt.
Yeah, I feel like you just didn't give me everything I wanted.
I mean, 1-2 Switch, they didn't give you anything you wanted.
No.
But I think that might be it. I mean, this feels like it's not immaculate, and whether it's Nintendo Magic or whether it's a tennis game. I mean, if this was just packaged differently and was just the tournament mode, I think it would have been a 10 out of 10. I think the tournament mode is just so cool.
Yeah.
It's so fun. I think the single player mode it's great, and it does a very good job of teaching you what you need to do to be good at that game. It doesn't make you good at tennis, but it makes you good at Mario Tennis.
Yeah.
So it's like a really hard tutorial.
Yeah.
So I don't particularly care for hard tutorials. Like, if I want to play something hard, I'll play Ikaruga or something. Like, I just want to whack a ball around. But I mean, for the multiplayer, I mean, the joy of my kids playing that game, like in the swipe mode. I mean, it's hard to beat that.
Yeah.
I think that kind of makes up for some of its shortcomings.
Sure.
But I am still hype, and this game is going to see play in my house for years.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, like I said, I'm enjoying it when I get in there, but I think it's a good point. Like, it's not a slam out of the park, but it's good enough. Yeah, I think good enough is a good term for it. I like that, actually. So yeah, cool. That's what we have been playing, and obviously a lot more. I also, just as an FYI, I got a code for the Arena of Valor beta, so look for that on our coverage in the following days as well. And been playing a massive amount of Fortnite, but we'll not discuss it any further. Steven, I want to throw us over to you. We're going to start wrapping up here, but Steven, I want to tell everyone where we can find all the amazing stuff that you do, where we can direct eyes, fingers to subscribe, all that kind of stuff.
Sure. So I'll do this super efficiently for your folks. You go to engagefamilygaming.com. That's our website. If you go to a social media platform and type in Engage Family Gaming in the search box, you will find us. Most notably, we have a really active Facebook page and Twitter, and Instagram is our behind the scenes. We have a community on Facebook. You can just go to engagefamilygaming.com/community and join our group. We talk about goofy stuff. You can ask questions, all that stuff. We have a podcast similar to this one. We alternate between video games and board games. That's that's the big shtick that we have. Makes things a little bit different. And that the name of that podcast is Engage, a family gaming podcast. So look for that on podcast services all over the place, and also on the YouTubes. You can find us there. And yeah, that's it. That's pretty much it, I think. There's other places, but just searching for Engage Family Gaming, you'll get it.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Excellent. You guys just passed 1,500 likes on Facebook as well.
Did we? I mean, did we actually pass it?
I thought I saw.
We were at 1499 a few hours ago. Let's see if we got
wrong. I thought you did. I thought I saw.
All right, so one of you guys listening, go to the Facebook.
Go make some dreams happen right now.
Can you help me? So where are we? Hold on.
No, I
hit 1499 still.
Seriously, come on, folks, help us out here. I liked the page a couple days ago, and I was like, this is great content. There's fantastic stuff up there, folks. So make sure you subscribe to everything they do. Stephen, thank you so much for joining us. It has been fantastic. I know it is wicked late there, man. Hopefully, feel free to come back anytime. This is awesome having you on here. Great content. Thank you so much.
I think we will definitely have to do it again, and some group of you guys are gonna have to come on my show.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
Maybe we'll figure it out on a special day where I don't have to stay up until 11 at night. We'll figure it out.
We appreciate that. All right, guys, as we're closing out, I want to give some huge thank yous out to our Patreon producers. That's Chris Mears, Dave Ernsbergs, and Timothy Alf. Guys, thank you so much for being our executive Patreon producers. You guys are absolutely fantastic. And of course, Stephen, by the way, thank you for being a contributor to Patreon. I just saw that come through a couple moments ago as well. So thank you so much for supporting us as well. Guys, if you want to support us, head over to patreon.com/Nintendo Dads. And guys, let's start this rounding out, shall we? Of course, if you want to follow us, head over to Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. It's Nintendo Dads. It's a pretty simple thing. Type that in, you'll find us. You can, of course, email us at nintendodads@gmail.com. We are on Twitch at twitch.tv/nintendodads. Of course, YouTube. Thank you to everyone who is joining us and watching us live in the chat. I see some great comments in there as well. Let's see a couple names in there. We have got Nintendo Talk. We've got Timothy Alf, of course. We have got Ms. K3, Santiago, Onomeister, that's Peter. What's up, Peter? May of May. So some great people joining us and watching it live. Thank you so much. You guys are awesome, contributing to the chat and keeping us honest where we need to. So that is excellent. Of course, if you want to, like I said, go over to the YouTube channel. Guys, we have put up 4 or 5 videos this week. I basically gave my opinion of whether Paladins are worth $30. So head over to your YouTube channel and hit subscribe, the bell, all that kind of good stuff, and keep up to date with that. Guys, big thanks to OC Remix for the music throughout the show, which Jesse will be putting in post. And, of course, you can head over to iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, and check us out on VG Tribune. Of course, for myself, for Jesse, for Marty, for an absent Zach, and, of course, for our special guest, Steven. Thank you so much for joining us and watching. Bye-bye, and be good to each other. Take care.